Good evening and welcome. This is Newsline. We are joined by former Governor of the Central Province, President's Council Maithri Gunaratne. Very good evening to you and welcome to Newsline. Maithri, nice to have you on the show after a very long time.
Thank you very much, Rasul, and nice to see you.
And
replacing,
not for us.
replacing for
Temporarily.
us.
Starting off, Maithri, right now the government seems to be in a dilemma. Do you think the government has lost the plot?
No, government was in a dilemma for the last maybe 2 years. From the time they came into power, they have been going from one crisis to the other. And answering a second question, whether they have lost the plot, well, yes, they have lost the plot. And I think, they were talking of various reforms and various cabinet reshuffles. None of those have come. And now you can see that there are a lot of senior members who are capable people who are now maybe revolting against the government. And Rasul, what can happen is when there is a strong government in power, the opposition can come only from within. The opposition is from within. So I can see that now people are getting a little restless and they are getting a bit sick and tired because incompetent people, incompetent ministers are still given the place. There is no reason why they should be there. Today the country is faced with all these problems because this incompetency, and most of them have completely misguided the president, especially with regard to this fertilizer issue and all the other issues, misguided the president, and today this country is in this plight because of this.
The removal of State Minister of Education Reforms, Open Universities and Distant Learning, Susil Premajayantha, sends a very strong signal to the people with regard to the government's stand on free speech.
Yeah.
Do you think that this shows the dictatorial rule of the government?
No, this is expected. When the people have given this government a 2/3 majority in parliament, exclusive power, this is coming a bit late in the day. But even before this, there were some journalists who were taken in for having published certain articles on Facebook. So this is now they are increasing the stake. Now the targets are high profile targets, like people like Susil Premajayantha. Now Susil Premajayantha has been a senior minister in consecutive governments, and I don't know whether there are serious allegations of corruption against him, but he has been all right throughout speaking quite forthrightly. So even in this occasion he has spoken forthrightly. So the government is trying to show there are 150 or 156 members in parliament. Look here, Cham, if you don't toe the line, you are going to go out.
No, but if you look at the government mechanism right now, people like Honorable Priyadarshini Yapa does not have a portfolio. Taking a look at Dilan Pereira does not have a portfolio. And then Susil Premajayantha got a portfolio several days after the cabinet was appointed several years ago. And many thought that Susil Premajayantha was holding a candle to the government, and that is why his appointment came as a state minister. However, now it seems that there is a revolt that has begun within the government ranks to show dissent, and this is a serious concern.
Yeah, it has to be a serious concern. As I told you, Rasul, the revolt will come from within. So I feel with Susil Premajayantha's removal, all forces who are disgruntled with the present government are going to come together. Now it is not only Susil Premajayantha. Now with regard to, we'll say, Vimal Veeravansa, Udaya Gamampila, Vasudeva Nanayakkara, there are lot of speculation, there are a lot of rumors which are going across, saying that they are going to remove all that and there is going to be a major reshuffle. And I think you would have seen there was a tweet of Mr. Namal Rajapaksa saying that Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa is going to step down and someone else is going to be appointed in his place. So with this now, it all depends. The crisis is going to get aggravated moment Prime Minister Rajapaksa steps down, because he is the binding force of this whole government. He's like the glue. He is keeping it together. The moment he steps down or he's out of the equation, then the problem starts.
But who is the prospective Prime Minister in the event, hypothetically let's say, President Mahinda Rajapaksa, now the Prime Minister, steps down?
Yeah, there are two choices or maybe three choices the president can make. The first choice is if they want to keep it among their family, he can appoint either, the speculation is that they can appoint Mr. Basil Rajapaksa, or they will appoint Mr. Basil Rajapaksa. That's why he was brought in as finance minister, and they will continue. Then what is going to happen is then the crisis is going to start at that point. That is where the crisis is going to occur, because the moment Mr. Basil Rajapaksa comes, then the others know gates are closed for them. This is only it's a Rajapaksa show. So that is one option. And if they take that option, then of course he will have to deal with more and more dissension like this. And this 2/3, whether it will last for such a long time, is anyone's guess. The second option is the main constituent party in the SLPP is the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. Now, the Sri Lankan Freedom Party, the president of the leader of the Sri Lankan Freedom Party, former President Mr. Maithri Gunaratne, he is also making noises and he's not noises. He's telling that the way their government is going, they're going in the wrong direction. So there is another option. Now, if they are going to do a effective damage control, I would say, I mean, it will suit everyone. But to bring in maybe a person like President Maithri Gunaratne as the Prime Minister.
But what didn't the government have? They wanted a majority in parliamentary elections. They got it. They got 6.9 million votes. They wanted 2/3 majority. They were able to fish out for some Muslim MPs in parliament and got that as well. And then they wanted the 20th Amendment to the Constitution to be passed. They got that as well. Then they wanted Basil Rajapaksa to come into the forefront as far as the Minister of Finance is concerned. He got that portfolio, and many said that he's the man with 7 brains. It has all gone in the favor of the government thus far. However, there is no governance in Sri Lanka at the moment.
The problem is, Razul, there is no governance for the simple reason that the people who have been appointed to govern are not competent enough to govern. That is the reason.
So are you trying to tell me that President Gotabaya Rajapaksa is not the right man to lead Sri Lanka in the next few years?
No, he has still not chosen the right persons to run the country. It is his choice. He has to make the choice, not anyone else. He is the CEO of Sri Lanka. So now at least he could put this last 2 years to COVID and say, okay, because of COVID, there was problems, we could not do it. But from this point onwards, from 2022 to 2024, 2025, I don't know what excuses anyone can come with. Now, he still has 3 years. And the other thing is, Razul, there is no election. Local government elections are not going to be held this year. Provincial council elections, I can't see them being held. So they are not going to risk holding any elections 2022, 2023. So therefore, they still have 2 years, 2.5, 3 years to turn it around. So only thing they have to do is to get a proper team. There is no proper team, and President needs to get proper people to advise him on crucial issues. Now, for instance, Rasul, now you just look at the country's plight with regard to its finances. We should have gone to the IMF 6 months ago. They postponed it. They started uttering threats, saying that we are not going to their terms. They will have to come on our terms. That does not happen. We are going for a loan. We will have to tell them how we are going to pay it. We give the conditions of payment. Not that IMF will impose. IMF will obviously say no. We want these things done. They will give recommendations. But we go and tell them this is how much we want and this is the way we want to pay it. Without doing that, they were shopping all over the place. Now they are getting swaps. Now the governor of the central bank, he has got a swap recently, and he thinks that he has done a great deal. So this is the way. So you can't have incompetent people. If you have incompetent people, you are going to get results like this.
But didn't all this start, Maithri, a few months ago, when the government banned the importation of chemical fertilizer? The government put the people from the frying pan into the fire.
Definitely. No, and the other thing is, Rasul, now see what a bizarre decision that was. If you take 2021, 9 months of that year there was rain. If there was fertilizer, tea production and all other production would have gone up by about 20 to 30%. Then the dollars which we don't have now, foreign currency, what do we get? Direct foreign currency. We get direct, one of the sources of direct foreign currency is our exports from tea and our agricultural sector. Now with the banning of the fertilizer, what has happened is tea production has dropped by 30 to 40%. Other crops also the same has befallen them. And now furthermore, by April, the paddy cultivation is going to, they are going to harvest, there is going to be a total disaster in that. Then what do we do? Again we have to import rice. So when we have to import rice, do we have the dollars to do it? No. So we are now heading, or we are on the brink of starvation. We are going into the brink of starvation.
So the government shot itself on the foot by its own accord.
Definitely. I mean, it is like kicking the ball into your own goal. This is what they have done on everything. I can't understand why the president can't have a think tank and bounce it off a think tank without going to these buffoons and getting opinions from the failed ministers. They are failures. They are failures.
So Maithri, now a few years ago, when the good governance government was in play,
yes,
many rejected them. People like Ranil Wickremesinghe was rejected by the people. He was not even able to secure his own seat in Colombo at the parliamentary elections that was held subsequently in the year 2020. So we saw the manner in which how the people rejected the previous government and appointed this government.
Yes.
Do you think that the previous government was a better known devil for Sri Lanka rather than this new government which has been appointed by the people with a resounding majority, and the people have to be blamed for not doing their due diligence when appointing this government into practice?
No, people deserve the governments they get. That's a basic theory. Well, when you ask me to compare the Yahapalana government with this government, I would say when you take situation by situation or various topics of government, I think the Yahapalana government, one thing is no one was willing to amend the constitution and reduce the powers, which the Yahapalana government did. President Sirisena did that. Then thereafter, they strengthened democracy. The Right to Information Act came into play. And thereafter, what happened was democratic institutions, the media got strengthened. During that 5 years, I don't think it was I think it was the golden era for the media, because they could do anything. And I think they overstepped their mark also.
But corruption was rampant.
No, what about corruption now? I mean, corruption is rampant. Corruption will be rampant. Corruption will be rampant. There is nothing, no mechanism in place to stop it. If you take the bribery commission, they have gone to sleep. The bribery commission has gone to sleep.
But Maithri, you very well know, Maithripal Sirisena was also somewhat of a dictatorial ruler. We saw the 52-day government which came into power because of the own whim and fancy of Maithripal Sirisena. And that is why the people rejected them.
He did it, and he had to pay the price for it. He did it, the Supreme Court overturned the decision. He had to reappoint Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe as the Prime Minister thereafter. So, I mean, that is all about a democracy. That is all about a democracy. In a democracy, okay, you can get someone who wants to come and act like a dictator. If he acts like a dictator, you go to court. Court decision was reversed. But now, I don't know whether that kind of thing can happen.
Maithri, you all had a secret meeting with the UNP recently. There was you, Sri Lanka, Kirthan as well as Azad Saleh. Are you all disgruntled with the opposition that you all supported, that is the SJB at the moment?
No, there is basically, Rasul, there is no opposition in this country. That is our because for the simple reason is this: the UNP or the green thinking people, the UNP types, the green thinking people are in tatters. The UNP is going in one direction, SJB is going in another direction, Mr. Karujayasuri is going in another direction, and there are other groups which are going in various other directions. So the first thing is, for a sound opposition, at least these people who think alike, the green thinking group, must get together.
But Maithri, I don't agree with you on this.
Yeah.
Why? no more in Sri Lanka or the world over there are green thinking people, there are blue thinking people, there are red thinking people anymore. There are only people of the nation, and that is what priority should be given to. Policy has to be there.
Razul, correct.
Direction has to be there.
When I say green thinking people, there is a camp which is green, there is a camp which is bluish red, and that is the bluish red camp is now running the country. So when I say when we have green thinking people, that is the main party was the UNP, and they have gone into splinter groups. So what I'm saying is these people must get together. We must think of a program where we can take this country forward. We must present it to the people. Now what is happening is each camp is now thinking, each fellow is thinking that he is going to be the presidential candidate. Presidential candidate will be decided only in the last moment. Even 2015 it was decided in the last moment. So what I'm saying is forget about who the presidential candidate is. Let us get a program together, all parties in the opposition. Let us get a program together as to how we are going to take this country forward. Okay, tomorrow if this government says, okay, now come and run this country, what is the program we have? What are we going to do? Are we going to?
But you are sending shivers down my spine, Maithri, because you are saying that the government is in dilemma. We all understand that we are right now in a crisis. We are on the ledge. But you are saying even the opposition has not pulled its socks together.
No, definitely. First thing is opposition. Razul, opposition is fighting with each other. Opposition is fighting with each other. I can see in the opposition UNP or the SJB is hammering the JVP. The JVP is a little silent on that. They are also on and off giving one or two blows. Then the UNP. So these people must cease fire first. Otherwise, how do you unite the opposition? You cannot unite the opposition. So the government will love if the opposition is divided and fighting with each other. So that is what we want to prevent. That is what I'm saying. If you do not unite the opposition, then there is no chance of a snowball in hell in winning an election with this government. Because whatever they may do, Rasul, one thing is this, they have more than 6,000 local government members still sitting in the local government councils. They have more than 10,000 Samurudhi Niyamakas, Govi Niyamakas and various fellows at village level. So the apparatus, the political apparatus with this government is very well intact. And over and above that, the politicians are making money as if it never happened. As if the corruption is going to be banned. They are just robbing, daylight robbery. So they have the money, they have the people, and come an election. What do you need to win an election? Money and patronage. So you win elections. So that is why I am saying the opposition, if we do not unite, we have no chance.
What is the alternative? All this and more after the short commercial break. We are in conversation with the former governor of the Central Province, President's Council, Maithri Gunaratne. Stay connected. Stay with Newsline. We will be right back.
Newsfirst, Newsline. KDK, the leader in indoor air quality. Over 110 years in bringing you the best of Japanese innovation and technology. KDK, the reliable fan.
Susil Premajanta packs up and goes home in a three-wheeler.
Mama sweep එකක්. දැන් මට sweep එකක් ඇදිලා තියෙනවා. අපේ න සුබානාගතය.
Minister Dinesh visits Susil Premajanta.
එහෙම බුදුමල්ලා නිහඬයි නේ. බුදුමල්ලාගේ සටන් සාගය ඉවත් කළා බුදුමල්ලා නිහඬයි.
Will Vasudeva Nanakara also leave the government?
ඉන්න බැරි නම් යන්න කියලා. එතකොට සතුටින්
නෑ ඉන්න බැරි නම් විතරයි ඒ කියන්නේ. අපි ඉන්න බැරි කිව්වේ නෑ.
Is the relief package a ploy by the government leading up to an election? The manner in which oil tanks in Trincomalee are to be given to India.
මේ සියලුම ටැංකි මුලින්ම රජයට ලැබෙනවා. ටැංකි 24ක් තෙල් සංස්ථාවටත්, ටැංකි 14ක් ලංකා IOC සමාගමටත්, ටැංකි 61ක් තෙල් සංස්ථාව සහ LIOC සමාගම අතර හවුල් ව්‍යාපාරිකටත් වසර 50කට බදු දීමට බලාපොරොත්තු.
Will Sri Lanka lose Gaul's face?
KDK, the leader in indoor air quality. Over 110 years in bringing you the best of Japanese innovation and technology. KDK, the reliable fan.
Newsfirst, Newsline.
Welcome back. This is Newsline. Maithri, what caught my attention before the break was the political tug of war that is prevalent in the opposition right now. Now, you mentioned about individuals running for the presidential campaign even now. So we have a few individuals who are now in the forefront. Individuals like the SJB leader, Sajith Premadasa.
Yes.
Then we have partly Champika Ranawaka, who's running for that post. Then we have talk about Sarath Fonseca
Yes.
being appointed as a common candidate in the future.
Yes.
Then we have Andrew Kumar Dissanayake.
Yes.
Who would you support? Because you supported very openly Sajith Premadasa at the last presidential campaign, and you were very vociferous. You were on platforms. You went on the symbol of the telephone at that time, and you contested as well.
Yeah.
So, who would you support?
Rasul, I would support a person who will bring forward a program to regain this country. That is the long and short. It is not an individual. Now, I think going behind individuals has to stop. Now you need a guy, a messiah, to take us to this promised land. So we are waiting for this messiah. And I hope someone who is capable will come forward.
But what is the option? We see the NPP is becoming very strong in the political fore at the moment. They are making statements, they are issuing statements. We saw the manner in which even the SLFP had said that the NPP is a very clean party, and that is something that we can expect in the future, and we can even join hands with them. So do you think that the NPP is an option in the future?
Point is, Rasul, I have my reservations because their policy is not based on a free market economy. Their policy with regard to democracy, they have not come out very openly and clearly. There is no democracy in that party itself. So at least the other political parties in the opposition has a semblance of democracy. So these are factors which they will have to come and answer, and they will have to convince the people. Of course, I must say the JVP has played a magnificent role with regard to its watchdog status, where it has been able to spot the malpractice, bring it to light, name and shame. All that has been done fantastic. I mean, 100 marks for that. But whether they can run the country, whether they can get their act together with regard to reviving the country, is a question which I am not convinced yet. I am not convinced yet. And other thing is, Rasul, now we are all free market economy. We believe in a free market economy. So that is why I say the green thinking people who are the forefathers or the founders of this free market open economic policy, not that all that has been all that excellent, but still there are shortcomings. We need to overcome those shortcomings and make a system which is conducive to this country.
But why do I feel very strongly, Maithri, that you, Kirti, Shrilal, and even Azad Salih for that matter, are trying to split the SJB? Why am I saying this to you is, in the late 1990s, early 1990s, we saw Lalitatwa Mudali being killed, and Gamini Dissanayake went ahead and formed his own political party. We saw those kinds of divisions taking place within the UNP at that time. And I am trying to think that all of you are trying to create that division within the SJB once again. And the green thinking notion that you're bringing to the table right now is to just to safeguard yourself and your people who are interested, who have vested interested.
No, I totally disagree with you for the simple reason. In 2010, I think I was the first person who said that you cannot go with Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe and win.
But you went and met him.
No, that I will come to that.
Yeah.
I'll come to that. But in 2010, when I said that, they thought that I am a disruptor. I have come to disrupt this whole thing. But ultimately what happened was, in 2020, the people showed that Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe and the UNP cannot be elected or cannot be given any governance. But notwithstanding that, due to the votes they got one on the national list. So they are represented in parliament on the national list. We still have our sympathies, we still have our affiliation, we still have a liking, love for this party, because that is where we grew, and that is in Sinhalese they say the Mahagedara. So when we see the country going like a ship without a rudder, and the opposition is all in pieces, what we thought is at least the green thinking people must get together. So that's why we went, and since we had come from the UNP, we are all at one time we were UNP. We thought we'll give preference to the UNP, and that's why we met Mr. I spoke to Range. Actually, Mr. Range Bandara called me to wish me for Mr. Asad Salih's case and the victory. And then I said, why don't we talk, and why can't we work together, and all the full opposition to work together? He said, well, we are willing, we'll talk.
But Maithri, do you think the UNP is taking you all seriously? Because if you see the manner in which there was the General Secretary of the party who was present at that meeting that you all attended, minus leader of the UNP, Ranil Wickremesinghe, who holds the only nationalist seat in parliament.
No.
They don't take you seriously.
No. The deputy leader of the UNP was there at the meeting, Mr. Ruwan Wijewardena. Vajrabe, the chairman, and the General Secretary was in the UNP, and they had spoken to Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe. He had said there is no problem, talk to them, and whatever workable solution, whatever workable manner, we will try to work together. In fact, Mr. Range Bandara called me today. I was unable to talk to him at length, but they are willing to work. Point is, Razul, you need to come and talk around the table. Today they are not looking eye to eye. Here we are in the opposition. If the UNP is not going to look at the SJB is not going to look at the other people, how do you expect to...
Who is to be blamed? Is it the leader of the SJB, Sajid Premadasa, to be blamed? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, what I'm saying is this.
He is the leader of the opposition right now.
That is his paramount duty is to unite the opposition, which I can't see happening. That is what he should do. That is what he should do. He should go to the and whatever said and Razul, he is the leader of the opposition. That is undisputed. There is nothing wrong in him going and meeting the UNP, going to the UNP, going and meeting Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe. Whatever said and he has been our leader at one time. There is no issue with regard to that. We have political differences. We will have always, but when the country is in dilemma. At least when the country is in dilemma, shouldn't we all get together, talk together, make up a common program and go forward? That's what we are saying. That's what I'm saying. Mr. Sajid Premadasa must be at the forefront of this. That is not happening. That is why we have taken it upon ourselves to do this.
Is there a light end of this dark tunnel that we're in right now, Maithri?
No, all situations has to change. No good situation is there forever, no bad situation is there forever. Just situations will change. So we'll have to wait, and I feel if at this rate, if the government is not heeding to the members, the opposition will start to come within. So that is, you can see the cracks appearing.
Thank you very much, President's Counsel Maithri Gunaratne, for joining us this evening on Newsline.
Thank you very much for having me.
When we started off the show, I thought that the government was in crisis and the government needed to address the problems that they have and get the house in order. But it seems that the opposition too is also in a crisis. With that note, we go in for the primetime news at 9 p.m. on TV1. This is Newsline.